Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to the Shack in Oregon. This is Ham Radio Live. Show number 308, dedicating this to my pop because, doggone it, everybody's got a pop at one point or another, and you want to help them. And for all new hams, I hope this show will be of help to all of you. Where to work, how to know where to work, and different signs you can look for to help you know where to work. Hope you enjoy the show. For seasoned hams and seasoned DXers, probably not a lot here, so you might want to skip to the next show if you're so inclined. But we do ask you to subscribe. Please do so. It doesn't cost anything else. People that might have an interest in ham radio to find this channel. From the four winds of the world, wherever you may be, away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Monday to you. It's good to see you. 25th day of October, 2021. It's great to see you. Welcome back to the Shack here. Hello, Will Myers, all the way in the state of Wisconsin. My goodness, I think that's the first time you've been the first one in. Welcome. Good to see you, mate. Put that back down where it was. Sorry. Used to it in a certain way. Hi, Bob, courtesy of WIFI. It's my brother, my pop behind me. Kilo November 6, India Ocean, Papa. Whole purpose of what we're doing here is to help you get in amateur radio. You need to find a national club or group or society or however you want to put it to help you find a local group because they're the ones who are going to help you get licensed. Contact one of these five and they'll help you get your ham radio license. First, the Radio Society of Great Britain at www.rsgb.org. Hit the Contact Us bar. Same in the U.S. for the American Radio Relay League at www.arl.org. In Canada, they have their own radio society called the Radio Amateurs of Canada at www.rac.ca. In Japan, the Japan Amateur Radio League at www.jarl.org. And for our mates in Australia and Tasmania, please contact the Wireless Institute of Australia at www.wia.org. If you'd like to say hello to the me, wow, must be Monday. If you'd like to say hi, maybe have a comment or suggestion, hit me up at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com if you want to help out the channel. And Glenn, by the way, in Australia, mate, thank you so much for giving what you did on Saturday. My gosh. Thanks, mate. You didn't need to do that. Thank you. You can either help the support channel here to help us to continue to try and encourage people to come into ham radio. You can do so by PayPal at proverbs356@me.com, or we do have a Patreon page as well at Ham Radio Live. So there you go. Want to welcome Kel all the way from Norway. His call sign, Lima Bravo 0, Yankee India. Good evening to you, mate. Andy Bronson, Mike 7, X-Ray Tango Tango. Hi, Larry and Dad. Welcome, mates. Good to see you guys. Welcome on board. Yeah, today's show is really going to be for people who want to get in or who are new, but maybe just don't know what to do. And there are a lot of people like that. Remember, this show caters to people who are maybe wanting to get into ham radio. That's why people that are in ham radio necessarily don't like it. It's the way it goes. It's okay. It doesn't, I'm just kidding with that. A lot of folks that are in ham radio like the show, and I'm honored by that. It's just that this show is going to be about giving back a little bit and sharing some knowledge. And if you have knowledge on the screen too, put it in the comments section because this is for new people to help them out. Okay. We have some folks coming to the channel. So excited. This Saturday at 20 UTC, Randy Hall, Kilo 7, Alpha Golf Echo hits right before the UK time change. Yep. Otherwise it'd be 1900 UTC. Did you know that? Yep. You guys change your clocks a week before we do in the UK. Randy's got over 50 years of experience in amateur radio. He's going to help you with your shack or your questions regarding ham radio. Plus, he'll talk about his channel and his career as well. He's got from A to Z on his YouTube channel. If you've never seen it, please go over there. YouTube channel K7AGE, Randy Hall, a great guy. On November 7th, we'll have my mate Alex all the way from Cutler Bay, Florida. Does a live YouTube show here in the evenings on the Eastern time zone, late afternoons North America, W7HU amateur radio channel. We're honored he's coming. Thank you for that. Sincerely, I do mean that. Also, coming up, new date, new person. Here it is. His name is Will Jourdain from ICOM North America. We got somebody. How about that? Yeah. Thanks to Ray Novak and thanks to Will. Will's call sign, sorry about the misspelling, Alpha Alpha 4 Whiskey Juliet from Georgia. He's going to be coming. He works for ICOM North America. He's going to join us Saturday, November 20th at 1900 UTC. Notice the time change because both the U.S. and U.K. are going to be changed time zones by then. Also, Richard Stubbs from MFJ with a discount code before Thanksgiving. Yep, before Thanksgiving, you can save some money in MFJ gear. Hit him up. That's going to be on November 23rd at 1900 UTC. Plus, on that same weekend, that would be the big Thanksgiving weekend where we get really fat, watch football on Thursday. That's Thanksgiving. And then Friday's Black Friday shopping. And then Saturday, meet us for Fred Denon. His call sign, Whiskey 4 Lima Lima from BLoud.us. You can run a superstation from your home computer and be the chaser or the chasee with a really solid signal. Amplifier, directional antenna, the whole shebang. He'll talk about that coming up on November the 27th at 1900 UTC. Also, please join us for Lloyd. Take a look here. The gentleman in the blue shirt, Lloyd Farrington. He is a member of the Radio Society of Great Britain. Also, a man who was on stage helping those 10 children from the Mary Hare School make contact, make history by making contact with the International Space Station a week and a half ago. Lloyd's going to join us to talk about that experience with those children and the stories behind it. His call sign, Mike 5 Lima Delta Foxtrot. We'll get you a date as soon as we get that taken care of, right? In the ham radio news world, we're going to celebrate the centenary of the beverage antenna. Yep. It's done by Ward Silver, November 0 Alpha X-Ray, and Frank Donovan, Whiskey 3 Lima Papa Lima. The famous receiving antenna, designed and patented in 1921 by Harold Beveridge, his call sign 2 Bravo Mike Lima, remains popular for the low bands as increasing sunspot activity remains going upward here in solar cycle 25. So weaker signals on 160 and 80 meters, Beveridge antenna works great. The article itself explains the Beveridge antenna's noise rejection abilities, as well as how to build a basic Beveridge antenna system. Catch that in the current edition of November QST here in the United States. Should be a lot of fun. Maybe learn how to do it. Let's get you cut up with some hellos, and then we'll talk about the show for today. Andy asks if we're going to do a pre-CQ Worldwide show with hints and tips on pileups. First contest, so a bit nervous. We'll do that. Yeah, Andy, absolutely. And keep in mind, I am not an expert at anything. I'll help you with what I can. We'll gentleman's agreement. We'll shake. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what I can. The number one thing I think when you're doing contest, relax, really just relax, find a pace. And once you start making calls, you'll get in a rhythm. And if you're, the guy that's generating the pileup, just work your pace. Don't let anybody push you. If you don't understand the call center or signal report back, we can talk about that. But, work at your comfortable pace. Greg Boggs, welcome. The city of North Carolina is in the house. Good to see you, Greg, as always. Ian Justice, he's all the way in the Netherlands. Welcome, Ian. Good evening to you. Papa Alpha Zero, Romeo November Hotel. Wow. Nice to see you, mate. Also, Daniel, welcome. State of New Hampshire's here. We're going to talk today about things to look for when you start your ham radio up. And so for people who are experienced, I know, been there, done that. But not everybody watches every show. And I want to dedicate this to my dad since he's here, because these are things that I want him to be able to look back on and hopefully learn about why we do things the way we do. Okay. I do want to say good day to my mate, Glenn Stevenson. Again, Glenn, thanks for the great donation on PayPal. Mate, you didn't have to do that. I hope your dad's okay. I mean that. Glenn's a great guy from down under. He's become a dear friend too. Glenn, thank you. As well as Digital Analog Ham, welcome to the show today. All right, when we talk about the weather, that's one thing. We get into the weather, and the reason we do it is for HF. It has nothing to do with your 2 meter 77 radio. It doesn't, because the HF bands rely on sunspots. Okay, if you take a look at the sun here, this is the A1A, all right? Down low, 8 o'clock. Those are the spots I said on Friday. They're going to give us higher solar numbers by the week, and here they come. And the solar number is going up. The far side view, so if you were on the other side of the sun, it looks like this, okay? Look at all the sunspots. A lot more sunspot, activity coming from the backside right now than from the front side, all right? Sunspots help the HF bands work on our radios. They do, because sunspots generate radiation to the ionosphere, and the ionosphere charges up and reflects our calls. Remember, the ionosphere is split into 3 layers. The D layer is the most charged, and it's also the one that doesn't reflect signals. Okay? So if you're on 40 meters during the day, you're going to make short calls, 500-600 miles. But if you're on 20, you can make 4, 5, 6, 10,000 mile calls, because the D layer doesn't absorb 20-meter signals. They don't absorb 14 megahertz. 14 megahertz punches right through the D layer. But if you're trying to work daytime on 40, 75, 80, 60, 160, the D layer absorbs those signals. It doesn't help you make long calls, okay? The E and F layer are the layers that reflect your signals. Therefore, during the day, a good thing to remember, sunny, 20. Sunny, 20. So if it's light out, go at least to 20 meters or 17 or 15. And we'll talk about how you can figure out which one to work when, okay? But right now, the important part of this whole story is the ionosphere, because these layers get charged during the daytime, all right? They have residual charge at night because, the sun charges up all three layers, but the D layer gets the most of it. During the day, 40 meters will still work, but you're not going to make long calls. You're not. By the way, Digital Analog Ham, thank you for coming all the way from the UK. Thank you. And Andy, Daddy says, you blimey, you look way too young to be dad. How about that? That's good. Daniel, thing to look at for number one, flea markets. Indeed. I can find good deals. But back to the weather. The sunspots, the radiation from those sunspots charge up all three of these layers. And no layer gets more charge than the D layer. And that's unfortunate because that's the layer that doesn't reflect the signals. So during the day, go above 40 meters. Be on 20. Be on 17. Be on 15 or 12 or 10 if the conditions exist. And we'll show you how you find out. Okay? But this is how our signals work on HF. If you're on 2 meters or 440, this doesn't matter. None of the solar conditions matter at all because those are line of sight. They don't work that way. Solar flares are something we do look at. Solar flares can produce, and I should say solar flares, sorry, coronal holes. If you look up top in the sun, you see number 15. You see a marked out area, it says 15. That's a coronal hole. It can create what's called a coronal mass ejection, known as like a solar flare, okay? If that's facing the south pole of Earth, if the wind is blowing from the sun, and we always have a solar wind, if that sun's kicking up, the solar wind kicks up towards the south pole, and we get a coronal mass ejection, it can destroy or knock out our HF conditions. It can just completely attenuate them or make them quiet. Can't make calls. It's too loud. No signal gets through for a while. And that can be a total radio blackout, but it's very rare. But keep in mind, it's also part of a growing sunspot cycle, and it also is part of the end of it. Solar stability. This gives you the last 3 days of what the sun has been doing. Remember, solar flares don't necessarily hurt us for very long. It might be a blackout for a little while from time to time, but the solar flux number is what we want. We want solar, sunspots. So the solar number we want to go up, and we want the solar flux index to go higher. All right. K index is different. K index is the static level on your radio. This is done because all of the planets have a geomagnetic impact on the noise floors of our atmosphere. That's the basic answer. So when we have a K1, K0, or K2, so K2, K1, K0, it's quiet. It's going to be a nice, quiet radio. Does it mean you're going to have static? No, you'll still have static, but you won't have a lot of it. You get up to K3, K4 and higher, the noise is going to be higher in the bands, especially 40, 60, 75, 80, and 160. Okay? Maximum usable frequencies. This is probably one of the most important pieces of this entire show. We want to work close to the maximum usable frequency because that is where the atmosphere is currently working the best to make calls. So look at 4 hours ago. Alaska was not even supporting 7580. It was 3.2 megahertz. Boulder, Colorado was at 23.52. Jicamarca, Peru was at 25.26. Ascension Island, 36.01. If you look at the map, the mid-latitudes are really high numbers, and the ones that are off to the north or south are not as high. That's because the sun is over the middle of the earth more, and it charges the atmosphere more. Look at Darwin, 22.53 in the middle of the night. These are in megahertz. This is not meter bands, okay? Athens, Greece was at 25.93. Nive Island out in very, very western edge of the Pacific Ocean, 13.34. All right, now look at the MUFs. This is current. Alaska now really supports 15 meters at 21.16 megahertz. Look at Boulder. That's the biggest number for Boulder in weeks. 28.64. That's 10 meter opening right now out of Boulder. Chickamauga, Peru is at 18.59 and Ascension Island 39.74 megahertz. Hermannah, South Africa 17.78. Athens, Greece 11.19 megahertz. Darwin, Australia at 12.79. And look at Knife Island, way in the western edge of the Pacific, 23.72. The Kilo Charlie 2 Golf map that comes to us from Mike in Jacksonville, Kilo Delta 2, Sierra X-Ray Delta. Thank you for being here and thanks for this map. Look closely at the map. It will tell you the megahertz to run where you are in the world. And it'll also show you the direction the path will go. This is just a variation of an MUF map, but it's easy to understand. So if you're in the US right now, anywhere from, let's say, 24 to 26 megahertz is great. If you're in Europe, it's 11 to 17 megahertz, depending upon where you're at. If you're way up in Finland, 25 megahertz is still open. I mean, see, it's where you are in the world. So you want to work as close as you can to that number on your radio. So when you turn your radio on, it shows you frequencies. Try and work as close as you can to that frequency. It'll help you make longer calls. The map on QRZ.com. Here's today's. Solar Flux Index, we want this number in triple digits. That's great when it's triples. We want 100 plus. It's right now SFI of 96, so it's pretty good. Much better than last week when we were in the upper 70s. Solar number is now up to 46. Yesterday it was 23. On Friday it was 0. Or Thursday, 0. A index is at 4. That is the sun's impact on the magnetic impact on the Earth. That's level 4. It's good. It's under 10. We want that number A to be 10 or less. K, the lower the better. It's a K1. It means it's quiet, very quiet. Now, if you look down a little bit, you'll see aurora latitude is red, 67.5 degrees, okay? It means that's not good. When you see a red number, it means it's not good. You see a yellow number, it means it's cautionary, okay? Below aurora latitude, see it says BZ minus 1.2? That means right now, the geomagnetic, the solar wind is going towards the South Pole at minus 1.2 degrees. That's it. Solar winds at 333.7 kilometers per second. Now it's low. It can get up to over 500 kilometers per second. So right now it's good. And you can see the band conditions for HF 80 through 15 are at least fair today. I think you still can get 12 and 10, but based on MUFs. EME degree, if you want to bounce off the moon, is excellent today. Now, when we go to forecast, it's based on a lot of things. It's based on the MUF, it's based on the solar flux index, and it's also based on BZ latitude. It can make a big difference. Okay, so the Hammond shortwave forecast for today, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of Hammond shortwave radio. Your daytime ham bands, the ones you should be on during daylight hours, 20 meters, 17 meters, 15 meters, 12 meters, and possible 10 meters if you're north of the tropics. Equatorial latitudes, tropic to tropic, 20 meters, 17 meters, 15 meters, 12 meters, and 10 meters. Southern hemisphere, that's the southern tropic down from basically down through Australia, Tasmania, South Australia, South America, and through Argentina. 20 meters, 17, 15, 12, and 10. If you're running data, if you want to run data mode, you should run 30 through 10 all latitudes. It'll be great today. Your nighttime ham band openings today. 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30. Your best long distance, which is what we call DX, is on 40 meters tonight. That's going to be at 7.150, or basically for generals, you'll be at 7.178 to 7.3 megahertz in the US. If you're outside, maybe you're in ARU region 1, 7.1 to 7.2 megahertz. Autumn and spring is here. 40 meters is a great band to work if you're going to work DX. Don't give up on 20 though. If you're there at sunset, like when, before sunset goes down and just a little afterwards, 20 will work great for you. It'll be short, but you'll be able to work it for a half hour, 45 minutes, and it'll be long calls. I mean, you're talking 3, 4, 5,000 miles or more. If you're a shortwave listener, 31 meter band, 25, 22, and 19 today. shortwave nighttime bands tonight: 120, 90, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll get 50% chance of 19 meters working for about an hour after sunset. Mid-latitudes in Southern Hemisphere, because you have more daylight down there, you'll get about 100% chance of 19 for an hour after sunset, then your signals will fade away. All right. Keep in mind, this is all about new stuff. For people that don't know where to work when, don't camp on 40 meters in the middle of the daytime and think you're going to make long calls, because you won't. It's daytime. 40 meters is a nighttime band. It's a nighttime frequency. Because if you're on 40 meters during the day, what happens is the ionosphere is absorbing most of your signal. See, the D layer. It's swallowing up most of your 40-meter transmission. It's still going to work short. Okay? It's still going to work short. You get 400, 500, 600 miles. But if you want to work thousands of miles, you're going to have to go above 40 meters. You're going to have to go 14 megahertz, 18 megahertz, 21 megahertz if it's open. And again, the ways to find out, two ways you can find through this map here. It'll tell you the megahertz to run wherever you're at in the world, or check QRZ if you're in the US. It shows right there. If you take a look, second line from the bottom, look up. MUF, US Boulder, 23.52 megahertz. So we can run 15. Now, another way you can do this, and this is pretty simple. If you're in the US and you want to know where to work, listen to shortwave. Shortwave's a great indicator. It's a gateway for what you can hear. But keep in mind, it's not a guarantee, because shortwave uses high power and directional antennas. Let's take a listen. Here's WWV in the US on 15 meters, sorry, on 19.
Coordinated universal time.
See? And Greg, yeah, I can do that. Thank you for letting me know. All right, so here we're on 19 meters, and this is WWV. Now, if we move to 20, let's say we move to 20, okay? So we're going to go all the way up to 20 megahertz, and we're going to make it work there. Let's go, hang on a second here. Oh, excuse me. Oops, I'm just, sorry. I'm trying to hurry, and I'm not getting there very well. So we go to 20, and you're not going to hear WWV today. But 20, your 21 megahertz, you're going to work just fine. It just is a weird day. And that's why I say shortwave is not necessarily a guarantee. If you can hear the signal, terrific. If you can't, it's not necessarily a guarantee. But you will work close to it. Every time you'll work close to it. Here's WWV and VH on their 20 megahertz band. Let's listen at their highest band, which is at 25. Okay, so at 25 megs, we'll see if we can hear it in this part of North America. Nothing. Okay. So again, WWV is at, you know what? I blew that. WWV is at 2.5, 5, 10, 15, and 20. It's not at 25 megs. Sorry. But this is right about the area where it tells you can work right now. Right about 12 meters in the US. Okay. 12 is a very narrow band. So today, work 15. It's a great band to work. Look, there's signals everywhere. Here's one here.
A little surprised because when I monitor my signal, it sounds very, very good. Oh, I know what you're hearing. I know exactly what you're hearing.
Use your noise reduction. Press your noise reduction button, hold it down, adjust it to your liking.
Very, very close to where we live.
Bring up the RF gain if you want to hear a little better signal. That's going to change your waterfall, but it's all about what you hear, not what you see. But you see, look at the way that 15 meters is right now in North America. Okay, there are signals everywhere, and the reason why is because the MUF permits it. Now, again, if you look at an MUF and you take a close look at what the current conditions are, whether you're on QRZ or you use the Kilo Charlie 2 Golf map, it'll show you what megahertz to run, because it'll be a great sign. But for people that are newer to ham radio, if you don't follow the MUFs, you can end up on a band that is just not going to be usable. I mean, you could be 40, 60, 80, 75, 160, middle of the day, because you made a call yesterday at 10 p.m. on 40 meters and you made a great call and you're waiting for that next great call, you're going to wait till the sun goes down. Use a daytime band. 20 meters, 17 meters, 15, 12, 10 if it permits it. Again, the QRZs, if you're in the U.S., it's a way to look at it, or you can look at a different MUF map like this one, Kilo Charlie 2 Golf. I'll have the link in the description. It's a good way to know where you're at. Okay, quickly, let's go, and I'm going to show you a couple of things on the 7610 because I want to make sure I leave my dad with some stuff that's very important. Here's our trivia, and these are cool trivia questions. One you're going to love. First one. When did the FCC stop giving amateur license tests and pass the duty over to the Volunteer Exam Coordinator Program? So back in the day, to take your ham radio license, you had to go to the FCC office. And I mean, imagine you're there at the federal office and some guys looking over your shoulder and you're nervous already, but there they are. So when did it stop being overseen by the FCC and became the VEC program in the U.S.? Was it A, 1980, B, 1984, C, 1988, or D, 1990? Hit me up, A, B, C, or D. Let me know which one you believe is correct, and we'll let you know who wins the first trivia question. Currently, Europe's in the lead, 105 to 95. Doing just killing it. You'll love the second question, by the way. Second question is awesome. All right, first one in is Mike, Kilo Delta 2, Sierra X-Ray Delta. One answer per person, please. Guess is A. And that would be 1980, I believe, right? Yeah, 1980. That's not correct. Good guess, Mike. Good guess. By the way, Anders Kyle, welcome to the show. Hi, Larry. Very hot in Norway now. Really? Normally, wow, this week will be 16 Celsius. Wow. Normally it should be much colder. How about there? Man, I'll show you in a moment. It's pretty crazy. Kiel in Norway, full winter, where he is in Norway. Goodness sakes. Anders in Norway says B, which would be 1984. Again, trivia question. When did the FCC stop giving these tests and the VEC program begin doing it? Anders guessed B, 1984, and he got it right. Europe now with 115. North America with 95. Wow. Good job, man. You know what? Anders, I think it's the first time you got it right. I am really proud of you, mate. Good job. Andy Bronson in the UK said it is C, Mike 7 X-Ray Tango Tango. And my mate VK Radio Ham from South Australia guessed D, VK3 Golf Echo Kilo. Thanks for coming to the show today. All right, second one. The second trivia question you're going to love. This second trivia question is so stinking cool. All right, here we go. What was the call sign of the Titanic? Don't say SOS. Was it A, Mike Golf Yankee, B, Tango India Charlie, C, Golf Mike Yankee, or D, Titanic? Okay, Mike Golf Yankees A, B is Tango India Charlie, C is Golf Mike Yankee, or D, Titanic. Hit me up, A, B, C, or D, and we'll give you double points for this one because this is a fun one. Andy in the UK says it's B, TIC, so Tango India Charlie. That would not be correct. That would not be correct. Let's see who gets it right today. Mike, Kilo Delta 2, X-Ray Delta. Remember, double the points. That means the North American continent will get 10 if it's right. And Mike, you did it. You got the U.S. and North America. Canada and Mexico is hopping up and down happy. It was MGY. Yeah, MGY. That was the right call. And coming in right after him was my mate Glenn in Australia, as well as Anders Kyle with the thanks for coming down. That's a fun one. Remember, the Titanic, Mike Golf Yankee. All right, let's take a quick look at the 7610. A couple things to look at. Okay, first of all, frontal view. I'd like to show you a little bit of the front of the rig because this is important for me to show because I want to be able to show my father-in-law something really important here because he bought one of these radios, and people that may own these, this is an opportunity for you to get a good idea about how the radio will work. Okay, so we're going to zoom it in just a little bit, and again we're on 17 or 15. I'm going to pull off the noise gate so it's not so choppy. All right.
I'm very pleased to make your acquaintance.
So on this transceiver,
having a nice day here today. So you're coming in real good. CX7SSW2HL.
all right, so if we zoom in on the radio, there's a couple of areas that you're going to use it a lot for, okay? And I've got a frozen camera, of course. Why wouldn't I? Okay. You're going to use, to narrow the bandwidth, hold the filter button in. It'll give you an opportunity to see a menu that looks just like this. Now, a good way to do this on a receive signal is to hold down BW. That's bandwidth. You press it, and now the VFO no longer changes frequency. It's going to adjust the bandwidth. Listen to the impact it makes on this single sideband signal. He just gave an over, of course. Let's wait for him to come back and transmit. But you'll hear the difference. We're at 3K wide. We can narrow it down. Bring off a little bit of RF gain. Doesn't sound so crackly that way. See? It's narrowed down now to 2.2K. But he'll come back. Hear how wide it got? The frequencies, this works either with shortwave or with ham. So either way you go. We'll listen to this frequency over here. It's pretty weak. All right, we're pretty weak there. So let's go back. We're just going to go to WWV, and we'll go back to an easy call. Or, hold on. We'll get somebody. There's a big signal. Let's wait. Hopefully he comes back and says something. I'll go over here. All right. Bandwidth. Listen. See, you're squeezing out the noise. That's all you're doing, just by adjusting the bandwidth. Again, to do this, you simply hold the filter button in. You'll get to the screen, press the BW button, which will change it. But can you see what it does? It'll also leave the filter there. So if you want your bandwidth to go back to 3K, open it up.
Out there trying to get people to do things and stuff, and I guess it's all the supply chain stuff. I know talking with the guy out there at Simla, he said...
See, you can pretty much knock out most of the noise just with the bandwidth button. You can also do it with the twin passband tuners at the top right of the radio. To do that, press the exit button twice. You're back to the main screen. You're at let's do this. Let's go ahead and put back to a 3K bandwidth. So we're going to open it back up to 3.
John, this is Kilo Zero, Golf Lima, Papa for item.
See, press the exit. Okay, now at the top, if you take a look above the meter, it says BW 3.0K. All right. On the top right, there's twin PBT, which is twin passband tuning. That also affects the way the signal sounds. Let me get to this guy over here. He's talking a little more. It's typically a place you hear some DX.
People are making more money by
okay,
not
listen,
working
we turn the twin passband tuners.
By working. It's absolutely ridiculous. At some point in time, somebody's got to cut the free money off and let people get back to working.
See, and all this is really making a little more bass or putting a little treble in. It just matters which way you tune it. It'll show you the bandwidth in the left box at the top above the meter. It'll show as things get bigger, back to 3K, okay? And if you ever make a mistake, for example, if on this radio you go and you make it too narrow, let's say you totally screw up. My dad's right here because he bought this radio and I want to make sure he has a video to go from to know what to do. Let's say you've turned the twin passband tuners too much, okay? So over here, let's see if it'll show up. Over here, you have adjusted the top right knob too much, right up here, okay? You've done too much. And what it'll show on the radio is it's going to sound something like this on a signal. Okay, let's say it goes like that. Okay, and you're like, where'd the guy go? just press in on that twin PBT button in the top right and hold it in. It'll reset the filter right back to where you started. Hold it in, and it's 3K again, see? If you want the signal to come in a little better, adjust your RF gain. But keep in mind, next to the meter where it says RFG, it means the radio's RF gain is engaged. Once that goes off, you're now not using RF gain automatically. You're just trying to bring the signal up. It will mess your waterfall up, but it's about hearing a signal, not seeing it.
I know what you mean there. I actually 2 days with that when I was up moose hunting with Pro.
Now eventually you're going to see a triangle. You see it over the meter? That triangle will cut back all audio below S5. You can get him out. See, now you've got your RF gain too high. Bring it back down. Bring it about an S4, and then you can always adjust your noise reduction if you want to, and bring it up. Your noise reduction can come in. Bring back your RF gain.
It just happens over a very short period of time, and I'll tell you what, when it happens,
and you'll hear him just fine. You will. You have some questions, Dan?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I want to leave him with something. I want to leave him with 3 things. Besides how to turn the radio on, right? It's important. Let me get back to your comments because I don't want to ignore anybody. It's never been like that in this show. Torben Iverson, first timer. He's in Skien, Norway. Welcome, Torben. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. I mean that. Thank you. Sincerely. Wow. Wow. Gary Strong, first timer. Whiskey 9, Papa Yankee. Welcome, Gary. Another first timer. We always do that. Mike says, I just watched the other night about the radio room on the Titanic and how the distress calls was going out. Yeah. Imagine that night, right? The California was close, but they turned their radio off. Fate, right? Fate. What can you do? Andy New, hello to Bristol. His call sign, UK, Mike Alpha Hotel 3007 SWO. One of my favorites. I love shortwave people. Love it. Michael, hi there. Kilo Delta 1 Hotel Foxtrot. Welcome. Good to see you. And my mate Adam is back. He says, little late, better than never, everybody. November Yankee 5 Echo. Adam, welcome back. We're just talking basic stuff. What to look for, how to work where, when. You know, this stuff here probably doesn't make a lot of sense to many people. You know, you look at this stuff and it's like, well, okay, what does all that mean? Well, this means your noise floors. Is it going to be loud on 40 meters when you listen tonight? If you want to work 40 during the day, remember 40 is going to be limited about 600-700 miles, maybe, in good conditions. Solar stability, if we had any solar flares, okay, that can impact everything, right? MUF, the most important thing, maximum usable frequency. Where are they? And where are you in comparison to that maximum usable frequency? Mike, Kilo Delta 2 Sierra X-Ray Delta sent us this map, and I love it because it'll tell you in megahertz exactly where you live in the world and what megahertz you should be running. It always is important to run right near the MUF. If you run near the MUF, you're going to make calls. If you're lower than the MUF, you're going to make calls, but they're not going to be really far calls. Makes a big difference, okay? Again, on the radio, on the 7610, 7300, same thing. The twin passband tuners work exactly the same, and it's about audio quality. You're squeezing a high pass and low pass filter. That's really what it is. It's about changing the audio quality of the transceiver. When it comes to the noise reduction, that really is about preference as well. Again, we're going to turn down the reference because it's really bright. So we're going to bring that reference. Whoops, sorry. Thought I hit the button way down on the reference because we're way too hot. We'll go back to where we were at on 15. And we'll take a listen. And we've got a signal that's pretty weak. Signal next to it as well right there. Again, just double click on it. Okay. So again, all it is it's just a matter of preference. But learn how to tune. Learn how to tune signals in. Listen on shortwave if you need to. And during the day, a great place to go is, I don't know, you can go on to 22 meters. 22 is good. You can go on to 19. 19 will go good. You know, listen around or listen on the ham bands. But learn to tune in signals. But remember, If you're a general, you cannot transmit below 14,225. Listen, you can listen and you can tune in things, but don't transmit. You get in trouble. You don't want to be there because the band plan doesn't permit you to transmit there. So here's a signal that's at 14,160. So if you're a general, you can listen, but you can't transmit here. Extras can in the U.S., but not generals.
Yeah, he's despicable. I can see what's
Adjust the
normal doing
passband
shit.
tuners. Just squeeze the noise out. And you can go light on this. You don't have to go very heavy. Again, right here at the top of the screen, that's where you see the numbers. See? That's 2.6. But you can hear them. It can be much easier than going in and trying to listen to somebody at 3K with a lot of noise in the band. That's all. Want to welcome Kilo X-Ray 2 uniform. I have an empty room and a lot of radios, meters, etc. to fill it with. I just cannot get motivated. Man, I've been there. I know. It's a kind of an up and down thing, right? Yeah, it's up and down. So that's the way it is. By the way, Magic Jim, welcome back. Shalom, my friend. He is 4 X-Ray, 6 India Romeo, Israel in the house. Welcome back. Good to see you, Jim. Always an honor. Shalom, my friend. All right, so hopefully this will be a little bit of information that will help you with radio. And if it's shortwave, it's the same thing. They're the same bands. Let's take a look again at the 7610. And I told you about a gateway. Okay, if you're at let's say you're at 20 meters, at 14.1. And we're going to go just below, we'll go just above 40. And listen. So now we're off band. We're going to tune to AM. So you press the USB button, gives you AM, because remember, shortwave broadcasters are amplitude modulate. So we're just going to tune. And you'll see them because there's all of a sudden a big spike, and there'll be a couple of lines right after it. Hear that? That's CHU Canada. Oh, goodness, sorry. Trying to hit the wrong button. So CHU, and that is their higher frequency. They're also down at 3380, and at they're on 49 as well. So we're just going to take a look. We're going to take a listen. We'll bring down the reference we'll bring up the reference so we can see the waterfall just so it's white. And we're going to move around, and we're going to just work shortwave.
These announcements will provide
Here we go,
information
WWV.
regarding the purpose, date, times, and locations of the exercise.
This is a great place where you can learn receiver skills. Listen to the difference when you adjust the passband tuning at the top right buttons, that we turn the top right knobs,
DMARS.org for more information.
See? All you're doing is just narrowing down either the high pass or low pass filter. There's Hawaii, and there's Fort Collins.
Coordinated Universal Time.
See? It's a great way. You can go to shortwave and do the exact same thing by just simply learning how to tune, learning how to adjust things. And you can have a ball doing it because you'll hear stations from around the world and you'll learn how to tune them in. It's fun. I mean, this is a great tool to use if you're in ham radio or shortwave. It's an excellent thing to do to learn receiver skills. I think we've spent far too much time worried about how far we transmit and not enough time learning how to receive. Shortwave. And thank goodness we still have shortwave. Seriously. You know, it's weak.
situação tudo assim, frente ao Condené em Paris, a campanha promovida e financiada pela...
And here's a time where you're going to bring your noise reduction down because you want to hear more of the signal because there's a lot of QRM there. Or QRN, excuse me, QRN.
Declaração divulgada nas redes sociais, a organização
Adjust your passband tuning or hold in the filter button. If you hold the filter button in, press bandwidth, listen. If it's too narrow, press filter 1. See? Now you've widened it out. It's a great way to learn. It's just such a great way to learn because it'll help you to work a radio. And really, again, this show is dedicated more to my father-in-law, Bill, and to all people who are new because, first of all, I don't know everything. You have my word. I am a master of nothing, but I've worked radio for 50 years next year doing just that. Receiving, that's what I know how to do. If you learn how to receive and you learn how your radio works by reading the instructions, the most amazing things happen. But it takes time. You need to give yourself time. Receive, learn to listen, then know your band plan. Know where you can transmit and not. Don't get in trouble for transmitting in the wrong place. Bad place. It's a bad place to be. Don't want to do that. So, hi to Tom, all the way in Bahrain, Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. Welcome. It's late there, and I thank you for coming. Thank you. This is Ken in New Jersey. So great. Oh, and hey, Yesu, where's my 991A? That's awesome, man. That's funny. That is hilarious, dude. That's funny. Tom, sound like Sputnik. No joke. No joke. Anders Cal, 7.118. Can you try to listen? Anders, you know, I'm sorry because you've asked before about working 40, and I didn't do it. My apologies. Let me do it. Okay, we'll go to 7.118. Let's take a listen, and we'll get you on the radio. Hang on a second. Let's listen. 7.118. So we'll be on to 40. 40 here is going to work very, very short. And the reason why it's going to work short is because it's daytime here. But I'll go to 7118. I can't transmit there. There's 7118. Now, keep in mind, I've got some here. Because people in IARU Region 1 can transmit from 7.1 to 7.2, but here in the U.S., even extras can't go below 7.128. That's the lowest we can transmit. But here's 7.118. A little bit of RFI. So sorry about that, Anders. I wish I could have done a little better there. Just wondering if you can hear that station. Very strong signal here. And that's halfway around the world. And also, keep in mind, too, Anders, a good point about how the ionosphere works. Remember, we're at that 7 megahertz place, right? Well, the D layer, it really interferes there because at 7 megahertz, it attenuates a lot of 7 megahertz there. That's why. So there you go. All right. We're going to close the show. I want to close it with a fun sign off because hey, that's what we do. We'll make a fun little commercial at the end of it, too. I want to thank you for coming today. This show is dedicated to my pop right there. Kilo November 6, India Ocean Papa. I'm really proud of him. He's accomplished a great deal. At 84, was 84 when you got your tech? Your technician license was 83 or 84?
Yeah, 84.
84, okay. He was 84 when he got his technician license. He always wanted to be a ham. And in 85, at 85, he got his general. You're not too old to ever become a ham. You're not. Don't let age be the reason you don't do it. Do it. That's the main thing. Until next time, wherever you may be, my name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Get into ham radio. It's the best hobby in the entire world. I know it's a license, but you know what? We all do this for a good time. Contact someone like the Radio Society of Great Britain at www.rsgb.org. They'll help you get licensed. Hit the contact us bar, and they'll do the rest. Until next time, wherever you may be, God bless you, and thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. Bye, everybody.
Well, before saying goodnight, we leave you with a taste of things to come for Saturday, the 19th of January, here on RTE1. is a gefyd no metration ni, dilina daus le moire de bara, mamo is kahal. And at 9:30 there's music, special celebrity guests, interviews and videos when Mary, Angus, Kathy and Dave invite you to join them on the show where anything goes. Sports Stadium is at 2. And at 7:10 the A-Team finally solved the mystery of a missing man in the conclusion to The Bend in the River. 8:05 and we're savouring more of that Hawaiian heat. And as usual on a Saturday night after the main evening news, it's over to Gay Byrne in Studio 1 for The Late Late Show. And finally, at 11:25, Crockett and Tubbs team up once again to continue their fight against Miami Vice. And there's plenty of variety tomorrow night on RTE2 with The Fugitive at 8:10 and the return of David Carradine in Kung Fu at 10:25. So if you're snowbound tomorrow evening, why not keep us company here on RTE1? We'll be glad of it. But in the meantime, from me, Teresa Lowe, a very good night to you and sleep well. Tasuligam Gavanchiv Tanav Asar Glorcha Nacht is o Gakenian Shachordja, Ihawa is Kalasaw.
That's a beautiful sign off. I want to show you something real quick that I said we'd show before, and I want to show it now. This is yesterday at the beach here in Oregon. It was the most incredible day I've ever seen in the ocean. We had 30-foot swells. Enjoy. Until next time, everybody, have a wonderful Monday, Tuesday if you're west of Dateline. Goodbye, everybody. Again, this is the Central Oregon coast yesterday. Just how much this historic winter storm came in early and hit us. If you want to see on a map, this is Depot Bay, Oregon. Depot Bay, Oregon. See you later, everybody.